More than 2 million emergency calls are made every year in Victoria.
You're not going to die, mate. You're not going to die.
Well done.
One call every 12 seconds.
Securing the survivor.
On the front line,
You're with the ambulance. We've got ya.
paramedics work around the clock,
You're being very, very brave.
fighting to save lives.
Pass me your hand. It's okay.
Cameras capture unguarded moments
Doing a good job, buddy.
of compassion
Hello, look where you are.
Is that better? Yeah.
and laughter.
We got it.
This is not a catastrophe.
It's all part of the daily lives
Congratulations!
of these emergency service heroes.
It's Emily Long. I'll look after you, I promise.
Woo! Yay!
On this episode of Paramedics,
Your neck, that hurts a lot.
Ray fears a crash victim could be paralysed after flying out of her car and landing on the road.
To be spat out the back, landing on asphalt, I'm actually stunned Lisa's alive.
Everyone clear?
Steve resorts to drastic action to save a man from cardiac arrest.
Every part of me is thinking, please work, please work, please work.
And an emotional goodbye as Nat and Leonard spend their last day together as a team.
I am absolutely gobsmacked. I am extremely grateful and I just feel really loved.
I'm going to miss you.
I'm gonna miss you too.
No, it's been fun.
It's been amazing.
It's been a wild ride, but I wouldn't have done it with anyone else.
Emergency services, tell me exactly what happened.
There's been a three-car pilot. There's a girl laying on the road. She's not very old, I don't think. She's been thrown from the vehicle.
At the Victorian Emergency Communications Centre, an eyewitness is on the line about an horrific car accident. A 29-year-old woman has been ejected through the rear window of her vehicle after a high-speed collision.
Is she completely alert at the moment?
The lady's awake, but she's in a great deal of stress.
Steep climb of departure.
The crash happened 120 kilometres west of Melbourne. Flight paramedic Ray is on his way to meet the local ambulance team, who will bring the woman to a nearby airport.
The reports we're getting in scene is this lady's got a very low blood pressure and her conscious state's dropping off. So it sounds pretty significant.
As Ray won't get to the crash scene, photographs of the patient's damaged vehicle have been sent through.
She was rear-ended at high speed.
She's been ejected out the back.
Yeah.
So, hit in the front, hit in the back. She's apparently come shooting out this little window. Can't see him.
I actually can't imagine what it'd be like to be involved in an accident like this. That is some incredible forces coming from behind you. You'll end up bouncing around the car. You'll hit pillars, you'll hit the roof, you'll hit the seat and sending you flying out through the window, landing on asphalt, and death is usually your companion right about that stage.
Hey, Levi, are you playing with an ambulance? What noise does an ambulance make?
It's a big day for Leonard. He's getting ready to say goodbye to wife Larissa and little Levi before heading out to his last shift as an ALS paramedic.
So good news, I passed my MICA course, the culmination of a lot of blood, sweat and tears. So I'm incredibly proud of myself and my family, my wife. Everyone's been incredibly supportive.
Can I have a hug? Can I have a I love you, and I'll see you when I finish work today, okay?
The promotion to MICA ranks comes after 7 years' experience for Leonard. As an intensive care paramedic, he will now deal with only the most seriously ill patients.
I'm extremely excited to start working as a MICA paramedic. A little bit nervous, actually very nervous, but I'm sure that whoever I work with will take me under their wing, and I just can't wait to get out there and start really helping people with my newfound knowledge and skills.
All right, babe. Have a good shift.
Bye.
Bye. Daddy's
Bye,
on a
Levi.
shift.
I'm heading off to work on the ambulance.
Today, Leonard will be teaming up with his longtime partner and great friend Nat for their final shift together.
I think if there's anything that I'm going to really miss about being an ALS paramedic, it's going to be working with Nat. She has been, hands down, probably my favourite person to work with, and It's really sad that I'm not going to have that chance to work alongside my best buddy again.
All right. Bye.
This is where I picked up my outdoor furniture.
Are you
Just
kidding?
in this street, yeah. How
That
random.
house is beautiful. Old
Literally up here on
warehouse.
the right. Such a small world, isn't it?
It's a relaxing start to the day for Steve and partner Emily. She left Perth for Melbourne 4 years ago to start a new career.
Just from that one there.
Oh, really?
I had to move to follow my dream to be a paramedic, and I was so lonely when I first moved here. But now I love Melbourne. Melbourne is home now, which is really nice.
We're back into it, girl.
213-414 to 11175. Replacement chest pain, 513.
Spot 213 received. We're going to an 83-year-old female. She feels like her heart is pulling and she feels quite short of breath. She is clammy. She's never had a heart attack before. Poor love.
It sounds like the patient is critically unwell, and we want to get there and start managing her and get her off to hospital quickly.
Okay. What number, Emelina?
3.
Pulling heart, shortness of breath and clamminess. These are 3 very alarming symptoms. This lady could be having a cardiac event. So Em and I are really concerned that this patient will be quite sick when we arrive.
What was your name?
Ruby.
So tell me what's happening today.
I had a bit of shortness of breath.
Okay.
I've only just come out of hospital a week ago.
Okay, what was that for?
It was saying...
I'm just going to check your heart. She was in hospital last week, and at that age, if you're experiencing a lot of cardiac symptoms, it would be very daunting because you'd think, this is it for me. This could be my last day here.
Any chest pain with the shortness of breath?
Pulling.
Can you point to where the pulling feels?
Around here.
Immediately, I'm worried that this patient could be having a heart attack or suffering acute pulmonary edema, fluid on the lungs. Both are incredibly life-threatening.
Have you ever had that before?
Yeah, but not as bad.
Not as bad.
Just approaching the airport now. All right, let's see if we can spot these guys. Oh, there's the ambulance over there.
At Ballarat Airport, 120 kilometres west of Melbourne, the air ambulance team has just arrived. Flight paramedic Ray will be taking over the treatment of a badly injured car accident victim.
How you doing?
Lisa.
Lisa, hello Lisa, I'm Ray.
Now, Lisa has been basically driving, she's about to turn right and someone's rear-ended her, pushed her car into oncoming traffic and has been hit from the front.
So then a head-on.
So it's a rear end and a head-on. The car's span, and it looks like she's actually gone out the back of this hatchback, this little hatchback.
So she's flicked out backwards.
Yeah,
so basically ejected.
Ejected, yeah.
Ejected rearward.
Yeah.
I'm actually stunned Lisa's alive. Be half a dozen people in the world probably survive such a thing.
Lisa, the way you got hit is a really bad way. When you hit behind, it's kind of one of the worst ways to get hit. Your car's not really designed to cope with that, which is probably why you slid out from the seatbelt.
Lisa's car was hit with such force, Ray worries she could have life-changing spinal injuries.
She's complaining, not so much of pain, but really weird sensation in her neck.
All right, Lisa, your neck, that hurts a lot? Don't try to move it or anything. No, you don't need to move it. You shouldn't move it, OK? All right?
That weird sensation's probably a fractured neck, but if she'd actually broke her spinal cord, there's no coming back from that. There is no cure from that. You won't walk again. You're lucky if you can live.
So your job is to keep that neck nice and still.
At the ambulance base, Nat is preparing for her last shift with longtime partner Leonard before he moves on to become an intensive care paramedic.
You know, it's the end of an era and he's going on to, I guess, bigger and better things. Is a bit sad for me, but he's worked so hard to get to this point. So we've got a surprise for him, just to show that we're all excited for him. I think will really make his day.
I am absolutely gobsmacked. I just cannot believe the effort that she's put in. I am extremely grateful and I just feel really loved.
It's nice to know that a few years ago we really didn't know each other well and how far we've come. I feel fortunate to have shared those experiences with you. So much has happened, and I'm like, and I've been there by your side the whole time.
Yeah,
and
you've literally gone through the biggest moments of my life.
it's been a ride.
It's been a hell of a journey.
Yep.
So, one more shift to go.
He will definitely miss me. I'll miss him. It's a joy to work with him. Look at our photo.
Oh.
Have a read. See what it says.
Dylan, just to make sure you never forget me, Nat. I'd never forget you. High cheekbones like that.
We look okay, don't we?
Yeah, you did get my good angle, thank goodness.
I did.
Yeah. No, nice one.
We are not just great colleagues and wonderful co-workers, but we're best friends as well.
But you're not quite on Nike yet.
No, one more day.
This is it.
You know what, no matter what happens today on my last shift, the fact I'm working with you just makes it automatically the best last shift ever.
It's very true.
All right, love, just take nice, easy breaths for me and just sit forward.
83-year-old Ruby has chest pains and shortness of breath.
Nice, easy breaths, Ruby.
As Emily listens to Ruby's chest, Steve is on the phone with her daughter, trying to find out more information about why her mum was taken to hospital only a week ago.
So she does have CCF, okay.
CCF, or congestive heart failure, is a condition in which the heart muscle is unable to pump enough blood to the body.
So she's got fine crackles to left base. The good news is the ECG shows that Ruby isn't having a major heart attack. You feel short of breath with that, but she's got fluid backing up in her lungs.
You had fluid on your ankles last time, and you've got a little bit again. So your heart's backlogging. Too much fluid.
When the heart is starting to fail and it can't pump the blood to the body properly, it starts to backlog into the lungs, which cause an accumulation of fluid. Essentially, she's drowning from the inside out.
And I'm going to put some more leads around your heart just to check it and make sure it's okay. And then we'll take you up to hospital. Hello.
Ruby's neighbours, who called the ambulance, are anxiously waiting for news.
She's all right. She's going to come for a ride with us.
I'm going to go in there. Come give me a big.
Oh, that's nice.
That's beautiful.
You'll be all right.
It melts my heart when I see the little girl give Ruby a big cuddle. They must have a really great bond.
All right,
Oh, lovely neighbours, huh? It's good to have good neighbours.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
If she didn't have that wonderful support from the neighbours calling 000 in the first place, I really worry about Ruby's outcome. All right, love. So you're going to come with me, nice and slow. We want to get Ruby out into the ambulance, but we don't want to overexert her too much. We don't want to increase the workload of the heart and make her feel more short of breath than she already is. Just nice and slow, no talking, okay? On the outside, Ruby looks remarkably well, but I do have to be really mindful that at any moment she can deteriorate.
Slow and steady. Use these yellow handles here.
And just nice, easy breaths, because that was quite a lot. I'm going to hook you up to everything. You're going to focus on your breathing.
All right, Lisa. Yeah. I'm going to have a quick poke and prod at you. I'll try to do it as quickly as I can.
Back in country Victoria, flight paramedic Ray is assessing car crash victim Lisa. The 29-year-old appears to have broken her neck after she was catapulted at high speed out of the rear window of her car.
Really, in a mechanism like that, it's just millimetres away from death. So if you break in particularly your C2, so that's cervical, really high, you know, the one that's connected to your head, and then almost the next one down, so number 2. If you do that, you'll lose your breathing, you'll die.
Are you sore here in the tummy?
No.
No? No? Okay, that feels fine. Can you wiggle your toes for me? Good. Squeeze my hand. Good. And this side, squeeze my hand. Okay, all right, so that's looking good. She can wiggle toes, she can squeeze hands. That's incredibly important. That's our biggest indicator that she's avoided spinal cord injury, which is near miraculous. We're going to have a quick scan of your tummy to make sure that's working, in your chest. That'll take a minute or two, okay? Sorry? Yeah.
Okay.
Are you in the medical field?
I'm just very smart.
Very smart. All right, I'll take it.
The ultrasound scan should reveal if Lisa has any internal bleeding or damage to major abdominal organs.
Deep breath for me. And again.
It hurts.
It hurts?
How's the pain going, Lisa? It's all right. Is it tolerable? No, don't. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. You're doing well, Lisa.
Okay.
All right. Your tummy A quick scan here, it looks good.
Amazingly, it appears Lisa has escaped serious trauma to her internal organs. But her suspected broken neck may need urgent surgery.
We'll quickly run you up and straight off to the Royal Melbourne Hospital, OK? For a bit of a stay there, OK? No one knows, I don't think, yet.
Being in a big accident, enormously stressful.
This hand you need to grab for me, OK?
It's a vulnerable spot to be in, lying on an ambulance stretcher and having no clue what's going to occur next.
Can you use your right arm to hold your left arm in place?
Excellent.
Give yourself a big cuddle.
Excellent. All right, we're good to go.
We don't know the extent of that neck injury, so that's an enormous concern.
The best Ray can hope for is that he can get Lisa to hospital without any further deterioration.
So if you have a broken neck, that piece of bone is broken off the vertebral column and it's floating around. Any unexpected movement or a heavy landing, that bony fragment could slice through the spinal cord, and she's a quadriplegic.
Keep coming. OK, that's fine. We right?
Don't get old, love.
Oh, well, unfortunately it's coming.
Ruby is seriously ill, with potentially fatal fluid building up in her lungs.
I've never been sick up until the last few years.
The 83-year-old has a history of congestive heart failure.
Feel a little bit better.
Oh, I've healed you.
You did.
Rest and reassurance, tick.
I'm not sick, take me home.
Yeah, that's it. You just want to get back.
The more Emily and Steve help Ruby relax, the less pressure on her already compromised heart.
How are you with needles, Ruby?
I don't mind them.
Em's a butcher. Watch out.
Oh, words of confidence over there. Look at that.
I trust her.
See? Thank
I'm
you.
glad someone
Beautiful
does.
rapport back here.
It's good to see that Ruby's talking to us and having a good time. It means that enough oxygen's getting into her lungs.
That wasn't butchering, was it? That
Yes,
went in
it was.
Oh!
No, I didn't even feel it, love. It was great.
I was just joking. Em is great.
I know she is.
Ever since I was a little girl, I have been obsessed with helping the elderly. So when we get dispatched to a job where it's 65 or older, I'm just like, yes. It's just, they make me so happy.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a 300 milligram aspirin. How are you feeling in your chest?
A little bit tight.
A little bit tight now? All right.
Yeah.
Is it more sort of in here, or is it wrapping around?
Yeah, about here.
Ruby and I are having a great chat, but in the back of my mind, I am worried about further deterioration. So if Ruby's blood pressure does continue to drop, we're ready for resuscitation.
I'll give you a little bit of pain relief now that the pain's come up.
Well, when I had my boot taken off,
Yeah.
and they told me, you've got 5 years to live.
Really? And when was this?
1970s.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary, isn't it?
That was very, very scary. When the 5 years come, I was waiting.
Oh, you poor thing, that would have been awful. You've beaten the odds. There's no getting rid of you.
I said, no way.
As they arrive at hospital, Emily and Steve are hoping Ruby will once again prove to be a survivor.
The doctors at hospital can now have a really good look at Ruby's chest. They can double check that she's not having a heart attack. They can also scan her chest to see how bad the fluid actually is. She can still deteriorate. I'm hoping that she doesn't, but I am very worried about Ruby today.
Thank God. You seem like a lovely lady. We need lots of people like you in the world.
Thirsty.
You're going to be a bit thirsty, OK?
Flight paramedic Ray urgently needs to get 29-year-old car accident victim Lisa to the Royal Melbourne Hospital. He's almost certain she has suffered a broken neck after being thrown out the rear window of her car following a high-impact collision.
It's a really isolated cervical fracture, potentially.
I get motion, I think.
You get motion sick?
Lisa's telling me she's starting to already feel some motion sickness. That is a huge concern because your natural reaction when you vomit is you'll turn your head, spit the stuff out, or you'll sit up. Both could be catastrophic for Lisa.
Ray's nightmare is that any sudden movements during the 20-minute flight back to the city could make Lisa's spinal injuries even worse.
Paracetamols running here, and that one's over. All right, so B's and C's are good, airways good, breathing's good, blood pressure's 125/77, injuries don't seem to be exacerbating.
Lisa's incredibly vulnerable with that broken neck and potentially a broken back. I'm just got this thing in the back of my mind that I might actually impact and catastrophically impact the patient's condition. It gives me a degree of anxiety until they're actually in a hospital cubicle.
346. One's on finals for the Royal Melbourne. 100 to run. Roger. Pop that door.
Lisa today has copped the ultimate sliding doors moment.
Lisa, how you doing? You a bit nauseous? Got a bit hot and bothered? Oh. Yep, okay, all right. So down on the ground now at the Royal Melbourne, okay? All right.
It's horrible to have a crash like this, but incredibly lucky to survive it like she did. She will probably have weeks to months in hospital and pain, which could for her become a lifelong companion. But nothing to what would happen if she's a quadriplegic. So she might just count this day as fortunate in a really odd way. For all of us, it's just a reminder, things can change really quickly in your life, so just value every day.
And that's the worst of those little bumps, okay?
There we go. In the Burnley Tunnel.
Injured hand.
Oh, but it's in the tunnel.
Leonard and Nat are also being called to the victim of a horror multi-car smash. It looks like their last shift together before Leonard is promoted to the elite mica ranks is going to have plenty of challenges.
There's reports that someone has injured chest, nose, hand, and they're requesting an ambulance.
The car pile-up is in a freeway tunnel, and it's peak hour Friday night, with traffic at a standstill.
It's closed for a reason, peeps. It's closed for a reason. I just have to say, I don't enjoy driving like this.
No.
I've never attended an accident in a tunnel before, so the first thing that entered my mind is how are we actually going to reach the scene of the accident? It's just going to be chaos. Because hang on, it's one lane.
Yeah, well, they've closed both lanes now.
Wow.
Which is really good.
Fortunately, an emergency lane is open. A motorcycle paramedic is already at the scene and has identified there is only one woman with serious injuries, 30-year-old Erin.
Just going to get bed collar.
Bed collar?
Cervical pain.
Done.
It's a reasonably big...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little bit of abdo pain, a little bit of neck pain.
How many in the car?
Just her. The bed, the collar.
I'm going to get the bed. We're going to get a collar and straight on the bed.
You grab that.
Yeah, let me do that.
The fire brigade has now arrived to make sure the crushed car won't catch fire from potential oil or petrol leaks.
It's a big, chaotic, noisy scene. But after talking to the others, I'm able to work out that the two cars in front barely have a scratch and their drivers have walked away unharmed. In contrast to Erin's car, where the front bonnet is completely crumpled and she's quite badly injured. Erin, can you open your eyes, darling?
Just going to get a urine deficit.
Right, let's get you onto the bed. Hold my hand.
Yeah, okay? No worries.
Is it safe to go in the car? My glasses are in there.
We can sort that out.
We'll find them.
We'll sort that out.
Reach yourself down.
Well done.
Motor vehicle accidents have the potential for catastrophic injuries. But when people are involved in accidents, their adrenaline is pumping, and so they may not actually feel pain or their symptoms immediately.
I'm going to get your glasses, darling.
They may get out of the cars and walk away from the scene, and it's not until later that they realise they've actually got serious injuries.
Can I get you to open your eyes just briefly? I'm going to shine a torch in your eyes. Beautiful. Okay. But it seemed like you had a bit of neck pain.
Yeah.
And you got some back pain as well?
It's in the middle.
Kind of like central around where your spine is, or is it to one
like
side?
behind my chest.
Behind your chest in the middle.
Not only is her neck sore, but her back is sore as well, and that's a concern for me because it means that the adrenaline's wearing off and her real injuries are starting to reveal themselves.
Is the back pain worse than the neck pain?
It's just I can feel it.
We really need to make sure that we assess for head injuries, spinal cord injuries, and internal bleeding because they're the sort of things that can kill quickly.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing any other injuries.
Emergency services, tell me exactly what's happened.
My husband's had open heart surgery. He's had a defibrillator put in. His heart's at 156 and the GP's not kicking in.
As the night shift settles in at the Emergency Communication Centre, a concerned wife is on the line asking for urgent help. Her husband's heart is beating dangerously fast.
Does he have chest pain?
He said he's got pains up both arms.
I'll stay on the line with you as long as I can, okay? If he becomes less awake or if he starts to get worse in any way, please tell me immediately.
Yeah.
It's a 74-year-old. Heart rate's 156.
Mobile intensive care paramedic Steve is on his way to the critically ill man.
He's got an internal defibrillator. Is meant to fire a shock to his heart if the rhythm is a dangerous rhythm. It's meant to sort of go off at 150 beats a minute, but his heart rate's up at around 156, but it hasn't fired.
With this defibrillator not actually doing what it's designed to do, I'm really worried we're going to struggle to actually get his heart rate back into a normal rhythm. If he stays in this rhythm, he could die at any minute.
When Steve arrives, a paramedic crew is already at the house.
Upstairs?
Yep, upstairs.
As soon as they saw the patient, they called for Micah backup.
Hello, mate. I'm Steve, buddy. What's your name, sorry? Ed. How's it looking?
Ed was watering dinner. He's had sudden onset of chest pain, radiating down both arms and into his neck. He's felt this sensation before, so he's essentially called us straight away.
Sure.
Ed's main concern is why his internal defibrillator failed to bring down his dangerously high heart rate.
At 148, you'll get a siren come out of this thing. At 150, hang on. I don't want to have a massive heart attack and die because of this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ed is presenting in VT, or ventricular tachycardia, which is an abnormally fast heart rhythm, absolutely life-threatening and can be fatal.
It is a dangerous arrhythmia, as you know, and that's why you've got an internal.
Steve gives Ed morphine for his chest pain and a medication that should get his heart rate back into a safe rhythm.
So what I'm going to do, mate, I'm actually going to run that infusion over 20 minutes, and we're going to see how we go and if we can slow your heart rate down. Failing that, we'll look at other options. So we'll set it at 150. Everyone's in agreement?
Yeah. If the amiodarone doesn't work, Steve's only option will be to send an electric shock through Ed's heart, hoping to return it to a normal rhythm.
Nice big deep breaths for me.
It's a high-risk procedure that stops his heart, and there's no guarantee it will restart.
Ed, at this point in time, is critically unwell, and the chances of him going into cardiac arrest are extremely high.
All right, so guys, we're going to commence the infusion at, what? 27, thank you.
Intensive care paramedic Steve urgently needs to slow down Ed's racing heart rate.
You right there, bud?
Yeah, I know. I've been there before.
Yeah, I know. That's a good thing about some patients. They know it better than we do.
Despite the 74-year-old's stoic approach, the medication to return his dangerous heart rhythm to normal can have serious side effects.
Your blood pressure's good at the moment, mate. Yeah.
Amiodarone is a really strong, powerful drug. One of the side effects is it can drop your blood pressure quite significantly. And with Ed's heart rate, a drop in his blood pressure can actually result in cardiac arrest.
Hoping Ed's dangerous heart rate will soon return to normal, paramedics get ready to move Ed to the ambulance.
I'm currently treating with amiodarone and just some morphine.
But suddenly, Ed's blood pressure plummets.
Patient's deteriorated. He's now lost all blood pressure.
Steve must now take drastic action, or Ed may not make it to hospital.
So, Ed, at the moment, mate, we're at that stage, unfortunately, where we're not getting enough blood to your heart. OK, mate? So we're going to have to do that wacky thing, I'm afraid, mate.
No,
OK?
Just knock me out.
Steve will send an electric shock through Ed's heart to try to slow it down. Additional Micah paramedics have arrived to assist with the risky procedure.
I can really see that Ed's actually become quite fearful and he really just wants to be helped.
We're at a stage now, mate, where we're just about to initiate sync cardioversion. So we've got some resus drugs drawn up.
Now that Ed's blood pressure has deteriorated, we cease the amiodarone infusion and now we're going to have to perform what's called a sync cardiovert, which is a delivery of electricity through Ed's heart to try and stop his heart and put it back into a normal rhythm. One of the complications is Ed's heart may not start again.
Ed's wife Lee and son Kaysen are terrified.
All right, guys, it's one of those things. You still feel really reluctant to go ahead and do these things in front of yourself and
That's
Dad
okay
and Mum.
with family.
So we might.
decided that we.
You happy? Yep. Okay. As long as you are, but just be aware. Sometimes these things don't. He's in a situation where we have to do it.
I understand.
Sometimes they don't go 100%.
When you made impact at any point in time, did you lose consciousness?
No, I definitely did.
Do you remember everything that happened?
I think so.
Yep. And so you just didn't, the depth of perception, just didn't notice the car braking
Yeah,
inside you?
I couldn't see all the cars ahead.
In a city freeway tunnel, Leonard and Nat are treating Erin after she ran into the back of a car.
But you don't think you hit your head, do you?
No, just, well, my glasses fell off just because of the airbags.
The 30-year-old has neck and back pain and could have spinal injuries.
So I'm just going to get you to take some breaths in and out of an open mouth.
Yeah.
Erin is given pain relief, but the paramedics worry she could have other serious hidden injuries.
If I push into your tummy, is there any pain here?
Sorry, the right.
Yep, that's okay. I'm going to start on this side anyway.
Okay.
Any pain as I push? No.
Pelvic injuries are quite common in motor vehicle accidents, and it's really important that I assess for this because anytime there's a pelvic injury, it could lead to internal bleeding.
No? Any pain here?
A little bit.
I think it's basically bruising from where the seatbelt is. Good thing is your tummy is quite soft, so I'm not suspecting any obvious kind of internal bleeding.
So we're happy to move?
Happy to move, yeah.
It seems that Erin has had a pretty lucky escape today, but she still does need a thorough assessment at hospital because we can't say definitively that she's been unharmed. The other thing they can do at hospital is investigate whether there was any sort of medical event that caused Erin to have the accident.
Just remind me of the temperature again.
37.1 for the third time.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I selected hearing and I typically
I know.
ignore Nat if I have to choose between multiple things to listen to.
Me and Nat always have a lot of fun and a lot of banter, but as we're driving into hospital, it kind of dawns on me that this is my last day and this is going to be the last time that I have to listen to Nat. I'm going to miss that irritating voice.
Okay, we have arrived. There we go.
You all right?
Erin.
I don't want you to worry. I know it's never nice to be involved in an accident, but the most important thing is you and everyone else is okay, all right? And everyone else is completely okay. Their cars are okay, they're okay, and you're going to be okay. And at the end of the day, it's just the car's just a piece of metal, plastic. It's just a car. It can be replaced, all right?
Leonard's ability to provide reassurance to patients and make them feel safe is just amazing.
In a week or two, once everything's sorted out, you just carry on with your life.
It dawns on me that this is our last job that we'll be working together, and I'm upset. There we go. I love working with Leonard and we have so much fun together. I'm really going to miss the friendship that we've developed and all the good times that we've had. Leonard makes all our female patients cry. So it's not just you. He has that effect on all of the women.
I wish I could say it was a heartbreaker because...
She opened her eyes and then she cried.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll be honest.
Am I right, Erin? There we go. We got to laugh. That's good.
He's in a situation where we have to do it.
I understand.
Sometimes they don't go 100%. Okay? Okay.
Intensive care paramedic Steve is about to send an electric shock through Ed's racing heart to try to get it back into a safe rhythm.
Everyone's happy with their roles? You happy, bud? Yeah, cool.
His wife Lee and son Kaysen know Ed could go into a fatal cardiac arrest if it doesn't work.
The chances of Ed passing away as a result of what we're about to do, they're quite high. So I can only imagine what it must be like to be family members watching their father deteriorate and the heartache they must be feeling.
Look, I think we'll just go ahead and we'll do this. The quicker we get it done, the quicker we get a blood pressure back, because at the moment we're sort of...
Knock me out.
We will.
Ed is now being sedated, but even this is a balancing act. Ed needs just enough sedation to be asleep for the procedure. Too much sedation could push down his blood pressure even further.
All right, Ed. Nice thoughts, buddy. Nice thoughts.
Yep.
You will, mate. You will, and we'll have you feeling a little bit better. You will, mate. Let's not think like that.
So once the sedation's provided, we make sure that Ed's not awake and not aware of the situation, and now we've reached the critical point. We are going to sync cardiovert, and we hope that Ed wakes from this procedure.
Lee, just give us 1 second. Sorry, sweetie, we're just going to do what we have to do. Okay, is everyone happy? Yeah.
150?
Yeah, mate, yep.
Charge. Okay, so everyone's going to be nice and quick.
We can all feel the pressure. Ed's heart may stop and it may not start again, in which case he'll be in cardiac arrest, and then we've really got a battle on our hands to try and resuscitate him. Ed said to me that I hope I wake up. Potentially, I could be the last person he ever talks to. Having Lee and Kaysen watch, I also feel a responsibility. This is their father, this is their husband.
Everyone clear? Charge. Okay, so everyone's going to be nice and quick.
Intensive care paramedic Steve is about to send an electric shock through 74-year-old Ed's heart in a drastic bid to save his life. Ed's wife Lee and son Kaysen are bracing for the possibility he might not survive the procedure.
Everyone clear?
Every part of me is thinking, please work, please work, please work.
Okay, you're right, mate. You're right. You're right, Ed. You're right. Just trying to fix that heart, mate. And we've had success, okay? Everything looks good, buddy. Everything looks good. What's that, mate? You're good. Nice big deep breaths for me, Ed. Excellent, mate. Excellent.
Without a doubt, there's utter relief. We deliver the shock and then we look at the monitor to see what rhythm is going to show up. And thankfully, Ed's gone back into a normal rhythm.
How you going there, Ed?
Pretty good.
You good, mate? Lee, it's actually gone really well, okay? The heart rate's back into a nice rhythm where we needed it to be.
Oh, that's really good.
So we'll just monitor him. We're still taking him to hospital. He's not staying home. Just thought I'd put that out there. He's just having a good sleep, okay? Say your byes and give a kiss and all those things.
The Sync Cardiovert has worked. However, we are still aware that Ed is still time critical and he's just had a very, very serious procedure, and the chances of him going back into that nasty rhythm or the VT is quite high. So we still can't drop the ball. We really need to get moving to hospital.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Don't hurt yourself. Ed? Ed?
Steve is also worried the medications in Ed's system could still impact his breathing. So he is watching him constantly, ready to provide manual airway support at any time.
Ed? Ed? Hey, buddy. Currently, mate, do you have any pain in your chest?
No.
You feel, other than the little thump that we gave you, you feel pretty good? Relaxed? Okay.
I don't know if you gave me a thump. I had a thump.
Well, we did, mate. We gave you some sedation and we gave you that little thump.
No, I feel quite good.
But the good news is, as soon as you had the thump, your heart rate went back into a normal rhythm for yourself. Nice big deep breath for me, bud. Big deep breath. There's never good. I can't hear anything jumping out. Yep. Okay, good, thanks, buddy. Just run me through the process of when it all kicked off again tonight.
I started to feel like I was agitated.
Okay.
Right, and that's when I sat down, put the oxygen on, and that's when I started to have.
And you started getting that discomfort in your chest and
put the oxygen.
Felt wonky.
So Ed says to me that he wasn't going to die tonight. And under my management, I was never, ever going to let that happen either.
So I'm a fatalist.
Mm-hmm.
If my name's in the book, big book there today,
yep.
Doesn't matter what you guys do or I do, I'm not going to be here tonight.
Yep.
Okay, so that's my look at life.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is too much like fate.
One of the real interesting aspects of being a paramedic is we not only get to look into people's lives, but we get to hear things that not many people get to hear.
Ed has survived the trip to hospital.
Oh, absolutely, mate. They'll interrogate the defibrillator.
Yeah.
And we'll work it out from there.
But given his history of serious heart disease, his future is still uncertain.
Ed's not out of danger yet.
All right, mate. When we go?
It's Kaysen's birthday in a few days' time. So I'm really hoping that Ed survives this and he comes out and he gets to go home and celebrate his birthday with his son. But unfortunately, there's no guarantees.
So she's got fine crackles to left base.
83-year-old Ruby was in trouble with a life-threatening build-up of fluid on her lungs.
Your heart's backlogging. Too much fluid.
After 3 days in hospital, Ruby was given the all clear and is extremely grateful to her neighbours who made the all-important call for help.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You'll be all right.
He's in a situation where we have to do it.
I understand.
Sometimes they don't go 100%. Ed
spent 2 days in intensive care after his racing heart had to be dramatically stopped and restarted.
Okay, you're right, mate. You're right, Ed. You're right.
While the 74-year-old knows the dangerous arrhythmia that almost took his life could happen again, he was thankful to make it home from hospital in time to celebrate his son's 16th birthday.
Lisa, the way you got hit is a really bad way.
Ray was concerned 29-year-old Lisa could have catastrophic spinal injuries after she was thrown through the rear window of her car in a high-speed collision.
How you doing? You a bit nauseous?
Lisa spent nearly 3 weeks in hospital, where scans confirmed she had multiple fractures to her neck and back, and was incredibly lucky to avoid paralysis.
Hey Lisa, how you going?
I'm good.
Your neck, is it still dry?
It's a little dry, yeah.
Yeah?
Lisa will require ongoing rehab for her spinal injuries. A carer, Grace, visits each day.
I'm doing better. There's still days where the concussion gets a bit much, but overall, I'm not in any pain. It could have been very bad, but got lucky.
All right, how's that feel?
It's good.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lisa has no memory of the accident, but does have a theory on how she cheated death.
Simply because I'm not over 5 feet tall. If I was a taller person, I would have come away from that accident with a lot more injuries. Pays to be tiny. Doing very good. It's a source of jokes among friends often, but I don't know, kind of saved my life.
I'm going to get the bed. We're going to get a collar and straight on the bed.
You grab that.
Yeah, let me do that.
Erin crashed her car in a 3-vehicle collision in a freeway tunnel.
You all right?
Erin.
Cleared of any major injuries, she did suffer severe bruising to her back and ribs. It will be many weeks before Erin can return to her work as a dancing teacher.
The most important thing is you and everyone else is okay.
Yeah.
As for Leonard, he's now 6 weeks into his new role as an intensive care paramedic. But he made sure Nat will never forget the final moments of their last shift together.
We have shared a lot over the years, and it's been great.
I might as well share one more thing with you, even though I probably wouldn't share it. It's a bit early to share
What?
it, realistically.
I know what you're going to tell me.
What am I going to tell you?
No. Oh, my God. Is Riss expecting?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But it's very
Seriously?
early, like super early.
Oh, my God.
Like,
I'm going to have an accident. Seriously?
Yeah, no, but it's that we're 6 weeks, so like we're way.
Oh, my God.
But speaking of being open, I wouldn't tell anyone else except you.
Oh, my God. Really?
So, but,
Made my day. Seriously, that is the best news ever.
I thought I had to tell you. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Best news ever.
Thanks, Nat. That's it.
This is it, Lan. Come here, you.
No, I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you too.
No, it's been fun.
It's been amazing.
It's been a wild ride, but I wouldn't have done it with anyone else.
You got to remember where you started, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, with me, hey?
I know.
And where you finished.
Respect my elders.
With me.
After you.
Thank you.